Raynaud, nice enough to join us. I know he was on the morning show recently. Kyle Smith, Stanford head coach, Maxime Raynaud's head coach. How are you today, Coach? Thanks for joining us.
I'm doing great.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Tell us about Maxime Raynaud and what you think suits his game the best for the pro level.
You know, Maxime, first of all, is just a wonderful person. I hope he has a big personality, and I hope you guys get to know that about him. And I think he gets such great satisfaction, really joy from his teammates' success. So it's kind of unique quality that way. And then he's just a fantastic talent. How he slipped to 42 in the draft is, I'm a little biased, but I'm a little shocked about it. He's a 7-1 perimeter player, really. I think he's very comfortable in the basket, most comfortable facing the basket. He can shoot the three, he can shoot mid-range, he can drive to the basket. He's also good with his back to the basket. He's a good passer, and he's a good athlete. He can move his feet. So I think you guys you're going to like what Maxime has to bring, and you'll be excited to watch him grow.
Hey, Coach, when I look at Maxime at Stanford and just some of his numbers, we know he can shoot the three, but he only took about 2 threes per year his junior year. You take over at Stanford, and he's up to 5.5 threes per year. Is that something you challenged him? Hey, we want you to take more threes this last season?
I think it's both ways. I think he knows he had that in his game, and he just started coming to his junior year. He knows he needed to probably expand that part of his game, and then he's lucky that I showed up, because I think when I was at Washington State, I think we led the Pac-12 in three-pointers attempted in 4 out of the 5 years, and we really try to model our offensive package, what NBA teams are doing, and he just looked like a perfect case study, just throwing the ball a lot and let him go to work.
Coach, it seems to me that the one thing you really can't teach in a player is just court vision. Players either have it or they don't. How about his court vision, his ability to find open teammates?
He's good there, especially with his back to the basket, because he played primarily his first 3 years. They kept him, more in low post. Had some older guys he's probably their fourth option, especially his fourth and fifth option is freshman and sophomore year. So he was used to, handling some cover downs. He saw a lot of double teams this year, and he has a really good sense, like most Europeans. And then he'll throw some nice back doors. And, my assistant was up there watching practice yesterday and said he made two passes he hadn't seen before. So I think he's playing with no knock on our team. I love our team, but he's going to be playing with some better players, and things will open up a little more. They really will. And so I think he's really suited to play with some good, and he's going to learn from one of the best big man passers the game's ever seen. And it's a bonus, and hopefully what a great guy to learn under.
Kyle Smith, Stanford basketball coach, joining us here on The Drive, guys. Coach, I'm looking at Maxime's rebounding numbers. How would you characterize him as a rebounder? Because, as you know, some guys get rebounds because they're tall. Some guys are great rebounders. Where would you say Maxime fits in when it comes to that?
He's both. He's got good size, good length, and he has a really good understanding of where the ball's coming off. You'll see. He'll get some defensive rebounds. He'll be significantly above the rim. That he just kind of has a good sense of timing, and then he also knows when he has to block a guy out and get the ball. But he's just he's a good retriever. And I think he had, I want to say, 26 double doubles, led the country in double doubles. So he's good there. He's better on the defensive end, maybe, which is fine. That's how you get stops. It's pretty important piece. And then I think, depending on his role, I think he can help get you some extra possessions too with bad outs, and because he's long, he's fast, and good hands, 2-hand rebounder. So it's hard to lead the country in double doubles. It's hard to average 20 and 10 in the ACC, and he accomplished both.
Coach, as you said, a lot of people surprised that he lasted as long as he did, and some say, well, it might have been a question of his foot speed. You mentioned his defense. Do you think that's a fair criticism? Some scouts, at least those on the internet, said, yeah, a good player, but the foot speed might have kept him in the draft longer than expected. What do you think of that notion?
I think it's inaccurate. But again, I'm biased. We'll get to see. I just know that he's really good on switching ball screens and keeping guards in front of him. I think you'll be surprised. He can really sit down in his stance and move. honestly, he kind of looks like he's really well proportioned. He kind of looks like a 7'1" tennis player, to be honest. Like, he moves his feet like that, so he's really good. I'd say he's not that bulky, but he'll get stronger. He's about 240, but in a pretty long frame. So I think he needs to get stronger would be a fair, because and most 22-year-olds do. And then, and I told him, well, we didn't let him block shots. He could not afford to get in foul trouble. So he was not allowed to swing at the ball. He's allowed to move his feet over there. And that's an area that he'll take up space. And I would say he's not, we need to get better at that, whether you can or not, it's just blocking shots. But I think he's so big and smart, he's going to be able to rim protect.
Okay, that's great to hear, Coach, because I was going to ask you about some of the numbers we see. And, it sounds like when it comes to him defensively, when it comes to shot blocking, ignore the numbers, right? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, absolutely. I think now I don't think he's going to be a plus shot blocker, but he's fine.
Okay.
It's going to be fine.
Yeah.
He's big. He'll block, he'll block more shots in the guy's hand, like on a post move. He stays on the ground. He's just kind of big, and he'll do a good job there. As far as he's more effective on just getting off the glass. He's impressive there.
Hey, Coach, switch gears to another player you had, our guy, Isaac Jones. Excited about him, his second year. I know you had him at Washington State, if I'm correct. What have you seen from Isaac, and how proud of him are you that he's made a name for himself here in Sacramento?
No, I'm tickled. I mean, there's not a nicer, sweeter human being on the planet. I call him God's gift to basketball. He's just kind of built like a basketball player should be. He's about, I don't know what you guys list him at, but he's probably about 6'8", with no neck, long arms, huge hands. Will surprise you how, he'll try to dunk on you from all over the place. He's got really good feel for scoring, good dribbler, and little rangier athlete. So even though he's older than most, the experience, he's still got a huge upside. And he can, they played him a lot out on the floor perimeter wise, which he hadn't done much. For us, he played like a 4-5 or traditional, 20 years ago what a 4-man played like. But I noticed a lot of their 5-out stuff. They had him play in the corner, but they also let him where I think he's most effective. He's just unguardable when you play him as you play him at center as a downside center. He just becomes a really hard matchup. He's going to draw 2. So couldn't have him to a better person. He's worked hard to get there, and his journey is amazing. It's quite a bit different than Maxime, but I'm all in on the Kings, man. Light the beam.
Yeah, we happened to see Isaac play for Stockton in March, and oh my goodness, it was dominant at that level. But speaking of Maxime, I have one more for you, Coach, on Maxime Raynaud. How, during his time with you, have you seen his offensive game evolve? I mean, is he capable of? Does he take more shots, more varied? What have you seen as far as his offensive growth?
I think he's only going to grow in that area. I mean, we recruited him out of high school when I was at Washington State, so I had to watch him. I said, this guy's got a chance to be an NBA player because he's so big and he can shoot, and he moved well. And then, like I said, as he progressed from his freshman, sophomore to junior year, you could see him just gaining confidence, and he started making threes considerably in his junior year. And I was like, all right, this guy, we got to go. I think the NBA guys call it lay, like the 5-out. Jokic said, we're going to throw him the ball at the top of the key, the elbows and low posts, and we're going to get his usage cranked up there. And we did. I think we got it with 27 or 28 usage, and he's a pretty unselfish guy. And I just think that was good for him to be a lead dog at this level, and he'll probably fill in to be a really good complementary player. He'll stretch the floor. You can play off, that gives guys, DeRozan and Levine, those guys that can penetrate, gives them more room for them to make plays. So I think he's going to be a great asset for the Kings.
Coach, everything that people are saying about Maxime is glowing. With that being said, he's going to be a rookie in the NBA. In terms of, the step up in competition, playing with a DeRozan, Levine, Sabonis, accomplished veterans in the league, will Maxime go out there and go for it as well? Or how would you describe his temperament on the court and how he fits in with a veteran group here in Sacramento?
I think if you're a veteran, this is a guy you want on your team. He's a young guy that wants to learn. He's not He's not super opinionated or feels like he's going to have to do everything to prove himself. And he's a sponge. So I think if I was a veteran, I'd be excited to have him. And then trust me, I think you'll recognize early on in this summer league games that his talent is there. So I'm excited. I'm very high on him, as I should be. as I should be. But and I'm very, very thankful. He added a year to my contract. So and he made my life so easy on the transition and embracing me. Like I said, he's a lover, man. He will love up his teammates, his team, the town, and he's an emotional guy, not the stereotypical French guy. He is. I'll tell him that. He is he's a lover, man. He's a giver, and I think you guys will really enjoy him.
Kyle Smith, head coach, Stanford men's basketball. Thank you very much, Coach. We appreciate it. Enjoy your summer. We hope to talk to you again soon.
All right, no problem. Thanks.
All right, Coach. Take care, man.
Woo! How about that?
I'm ready. Let's go. Throw the ball in the air. You know, I see people on the YouTube weighing in as well. Tristan G. Sounds like dude should have been picked first. What a steal, right? Yes.
Yes.
This
The
is
Kings
a steal.
God